So we'll do intros first. I'm Hannah Kerner. I'm the outgoing chair of SEDS. And this is Zach Pace. He's the vice chair.
I'm John Conway, executive director, so I have all the staff and the board.
So I'm Michael Clarkson from ASU, and I'm the current secretary.
I'm Andrew Newman from Virginia Tech, and I am an at-large board member.
Here's the mic.
I am Andrew Newman from Virginia Tech, and I am one of 2 at-large board members.
And in case you didn't hear, I'm executive director and the staff from ASU.
So we're going to start by watching this cutesy video of an overview of SEDS. Maybe. Hold on. Don't look.
SEDS, in my own words, I guess I would say it is a tight-knit community that reaches all over the world of people who live and breathe faith. It's people who they want to settle beyond the earth. They want to do everything they can and encourage everyone they can to explore and faith. So I went out to our fall event, Love Festival, at the beginning of the year, and since September, brand new, the first year we were doing it. And we're for exploration, development, and faith. Sign me up.
My favorite about SEDS is it's got to be this Face Vision conference. It's been a really great experience for me getting to know SEDS members from other chapters, and all the speakers, the corporations here, and the foundations.
I just really want to help others that don't know about sex or that are in sex but maybe aren't as involved in all the activities that I've been able to do with sex at the same time.
So you for the Google Plus as well? Anybody?
Let's not talk about the Google Glass. That was another time. Okay, so I'm going to awkwardly look back at this. Okay, so what does SEDS even do? I don't know. Fundamentally our role is to empower young people to participate and make an impact in space exploration. Like, that is our mission. So to do that, we help students develop their technical and leadership skills by providing opportunities to manage and participate in national projects. These can be outreach projects, technical projects. We've got a lot of different options for people. We help people attend conferences and learn how to network with people, which truly is a skill. We help people publish their work and get their voices heard on an international scale and develop their professional network. And so we want to help you become a more effective person, both in your career, in your personal life, whether you want to go into industry, academia, government, whatever. We want to help you be the person that you want to be. We want to help you be awesome.
So just a little history of SEDS. The first 3 chapters were created in 1980. Peter Diamandis, Scott Ruppman, Todd Hawley, and Bob Richards. Peter Diamandis wrote a letter to Omni Magazine, which was essentially a call for students to actually become active in the space industry. Before that, nobody had really acknowledged students as a source of intellectual capital to make change in the industry. So that was a really huge step, and the response I got was gigantic. Letters came in from every not every university, but a whole lot of universities with students actually saying, hey, we really want to be a part of this. This is awesome. How do we get involved? We actually have an archive of all these letters. It's really cool to go through and see. Yeah, and we are the largest student-led space advocacy organization in the world. This is the largest student-led space conference in the world, and you're all part of it. So, fun facts.
Another fun fact, well, so just to follow up on what John was saying, those first 3 chapters were started, and then after the call to Omni Magazine, they were like, this is huge, people all over the country want to participate in this. So then Peter Diamandis with Bob Richards and Todd Hawley founded SEDS-USA, which is now a 501c3 nonprofit. And like John said, the largest student-led space organization in the world. And some other fun fact is that Scott Sharfman, the president of Princeton after him, was Jeff Bezos, who y'all might know from Amazon and Blue Origin. And we have, some of these I didn't even know about until I was researching for this, but we have chapters in Canada, India, Israel, Mexico, Nepal, Nigeria, Philippines, Spain, UK, and obviously the United States. This is another thing I just thought was really cool. I was reading the mission design paper for Deep Space One, the sort of first satellite in the NASA New Millennium program, which was meant to test extremely high-risk technologies. And I was reading it, and I came across this little section, which you might not be able to see, but it says, you know, basically extra room on rocket that Deep Space One went on. And it says, the residual performance will be used to deliver another spacecraft, SEDS-USA, to Earth orbit. So SEDS-USA was the first satellite by Dennis Wingo and some other folks that I think MIT sends. And so we launched with Deep Space One, and it's actually still orbiting. You can see it on NORAD's tracking website. So we're gonna talk about what we've done this year. And so this year started, our SEDS calendar year starts at Space Vision. So this is Space Vision last year in Chapel Hill. How many of you were here for that? How many of you is this your, are you returning Space Vision attendees? About the same amount? Cool. And so we had a new board elected, some of our outgoing and incoming members.
So this is where I get really excited because ever since taking over executive director, one of my main goals has been to get back to the principles of running the organization as a business, which might bore some of you peers, but it's exciting for some others. So one of the biggest things in that was we had a large memorial fund in memory of Daryl Kane, who was one of our most active members. You might know the Daryl King Award for Excellence. We also have an endowment, which is essentially an interest collecting large fund that cannot be touched at all. So the principal amount sits there, collects interest, and then we can use that interest to run the organization and as operating income and funds. It's important because that can't be messed up at all.
Well, it's also how a lot of, like, most nonprofits are run. And to this point, our endowment had not been collecting interest.
So we finally placed that after about 4 years, which is really important. We're getting our accounting in line so we can better serve students by setting up very just budgets for project management.
Basically, we're trying to get to a place where we can provide more resources for students, and placing the endowment was a huge step down that road. Like, one thing a lot of nonprofits have that we don't, that would be great, is a full-time executive director, right? So if we could have somebody thinking about SEDS all day, every day as their job, what amazing things could we do? More so than we already do. So we had the,
Spoiler alert, but the USRC, our rocketry competition with, can you hear me? There we go. So, the winner this year of the University Student Rocketry Competition was New Mexico State University, with Purdue as a very, very, very close second. This is a wonderful competition that actually gives you hands-on experience with rockets, and I think if any of the speakers out there, they can attest that screwing up on a student budget or not screwing up and being successful is incredibly valuable for your resume. Actually having hands-on experience with hardware is something that the companies are constantly seeking out. So yeah, that's one of the national competitions.
what's cool about the rocketry competition too is it's specifically designed for teams that have little to no experience in rocketry. So if you think, oh, we're not a rocketry chapter, we've never done that before, you can still compete and figure this out within the competition timeline.
I'm an economics major and led our rocketry challenge in 2013, so it's very accessible.
So, I don't know how many of you guys have attended Space Talks. Has anybody been to a Space Talk before? Logged in before? So we're trying to make them a lot more accessible and a lot easier for students to, participate in because they are really interesting. They're basically one-on-one conversations with a small group of students and an industry professional. So we've had people like, who is the last one that we had? Nick, who? That's right. Yeah, so it's basically any part of industry that you could be possibly interested in, and it's not just, presidents and CEOs, it's engineers, flight specialists, payload specialists. We also have some really interesting science fiction people coming up. Kim Stanley Robinson is next week, and Andy Weir is in January. So hopefully, thanks to the efforts of Julia, our new Space Talks manager, you guys can start participating in those, and I hope to see some of you there.
So to find out about the Space Talks, you can check on the SEDS website. So if you go to seds.org, and then under projects, we have Space Talks, and it has a schedule for all of the upcoming talks. It'll have links to the Google Hangouts for them. And you don't have to be in the Hangout, but you can just watch it, and it has a little Q&A app. So you can submit your questions to the speaker, and Michael, moderating them, will make sure they're asked.
Also, we're incredibly active on Facebook, Twitter, and now Instagram. So if you have pictures that you're taking here or need to get in touch with us, you can use any of those avenues. Also, it's a great outlet for anything you need to know about what's going on with SEDS currently. So, business playing competition took a big step up this year. We have 5 teams competing. An awesome mentor, if you were there this morning, Jeff Matthews, actually took a lot of time with all of the teams to go over their business plans. If you're not familiar with this, it's essentially just a pitch competition for space-related business ideas. So it can be anything from landing a rover on the moon to reusing the ISS after its time is up. To we're working on unified ground station network for universities. So we have 5 teams, a super diverse offering this year, which is awesome. So some solid competition. And then awesome sponsorship from Waypaper Labs, which is a moon habitat incubator.
They're incubating lunar technologies in Chattanooga. You'll find out more about that from Patrick in the panel directly after this.
So this is me. So one of my sort of big tasks for this year was to run a competition called Satellites Around Mars, and this was sponsored in its entirety by SSPI, the Society for Satellite Professionals International, and we had like 10 or 12 teams from about 8 or 9 different universities participate, and this competition was basically to try and solve one or a small handful of problems inherent to populating Mars with humans and with robots, and in particular related to establishing telecommunications between the Earth and Mars. This project was left very open-ended because we wanted teams to look at all different sorts of problems wherever they were comfortable, and then in the future integrate this into the accepted literature and the accepted practices if it turns out to be a profitable endeavor. So the prizes were, as I said, sponsored by SSPI, and you will hear about the winners tomorrow at the banquet. I won't spoil it, but the competition was very fierce this year, and we hope to offer similar competitions in future years.
Another note about that is that AGI actually came Analytical Graphics Incorporated, maybe? I'm not sure what the I is.
Incorporated.
Yeah, I got it. Yeah, so they make STK, Space Toolkit. So, I don't know, I use it, I've never thought about the acronym. Yeah, STK, so they came in and they're like, hey, we'll offer this for free, and they actually want to offer that to SEDS students to just work on their own projects, like, I don't know, for fun, maybe as part of your research, not for commercial purposes, but for people who need access to the software, they offer that for free to SEDS, and we're looking at in the future them doing some, workshops on using it. If some of you remember when you first tried to use it, it's a learning curve. So that will be fun and upcoming. So we also offer over $10,000 in scholarships. I'm interested to know how many of you knew that we offer this much in scholarships? Hands, if we offer scholarships at all? Yeah, this is a problem that we will discuss at the end. But, So we offer $10,500 in scholarships. And so part of that is 2 scholarships by our founders, Peter Dumandis and Bob Richards. So they both sponsored personally a $2,000 scholarship. And there's the Daryl Kane Award for Excellence, which is sponsored by the Daryl Kane family and SEDS-USA. We have our Rocketry Challenge and Business Plan Competition prizes. This was for last year. And then we had poster session prizes last year, and we had, this year sponsored a prize for the Global Space Balloon Challenge, which I think a lot of your chapters participated in. As the slide says, we try to hook y'all up where we can. So this comes in the form of, so there are a lot of conferences that are pretty expensive. Even the student prices can be pretty expensive for these conferences. But, they love SEDS students and they want more students at their conferences. So often we have some pretty serious discounts, if not complimentary tickets, that they offer us to conferences. So if you're thinking about going to any space industry conference that's not Space Vision, you can just reach out to us. Chances are, or look on our website, or around the time of the conference, we'll be publicizing that we have these things. But chances are we can get you either a free or discounted ticket.
And a lot of people ask what the value of SEDS is to them. Just the Satellite 2015, one of those tickets, which we have 50 passes this year, is $2,600. So as far as a return on investment for what you're working towards, just absolutely phenomenal networking opportunities for no cost except for travel. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and really the experience you get out of just talking to these people and telling them about your work and telling them about your passion is invaluable. And there are a lot of people here that went to Satellite and some of these other events through the SEDS opportunities, and they can tell you more about just how awesome these were, because people are tired of talking to their coworkers. They want to talk to students.
Also going to these conferences and getting FaceTime with the same people in the industry that you want to work for or with is incredibly valuable.
So last year we partnered with an organization called the Alliance for the Development of Space. No, for Space Development. Alliance for Space Development, which is a kind of conglomerate of all of these different space organizations. And in this partnership, they do an event every year called March Storm. March Storm is a policy event on Capitol Hill where we go talk to staffers and congressmen about issues we find pertinent in the space industry. So if you just saw Muncie talk about space policy 2 sessions ago, a lot of those are the issues we go and talk to staffers about. And with March Storm, we have been making a difference. I don't remember exactly what bills we have in front of people right now, but we do have things moving through Congress.
So some of the things that we lobbied for did get passed already, actually, or like are in the bill process. I didn't watch my Schoolhouse Rock videos very well, clearly, but you know, one of them, what was it, CR?
The learning period.
Yeah, the learning period for commercial crew was extended. There were several things that have actually gone into legislation that we lobbied for, which is really awesome because you feel like you're actually doing something. And when you talk to these people in Congress, you realize like how little they know about space or like what's going on in space. Most of them don't even know the shuttle has retired. I would say the word settlement and they're like, you mean what? Like they don't get that people want to live in space, and if we want to live and work in space, you've got to tell people. And so it felt like you could really do something. And you know what? We need more people like y'all because a lot of the people who are lobbying often are like the stereotypical space nerd, right? Like tinfoil hat, walking in there talking about like what the staffers think sounds like Star Trek. So hearing from people like us makes it feel real to them because the staffers often are our age.
Yeah, they love hearing from students. They get really excited when we're talking to them, telling them about where we go to school, what research we're doing, and why we're lobbying for it. They get the biggest kicks out of it.
And they like are able to identify with it more, I think, when they're talking to people who are like at their age, at their level of education. So we partnered with a lot of new organizations this year. Like I said, AGI, we started working with them. We partnered with SGAC, the Space Generation Advisory Council, which is an international sort of like big kid SEDS. So it's for more of ages like after college to about 35. And so we also partnered with UK SEDS and the newest national SEDS organization, SEDS Canada. Which, you know, we're already inherently partners, but being able to formalize that relationship is helpful for everybody. USRA, University Student Research Association, they run LPSC, the Lunar and Planetary Science Conference, and a lot of other things. And SEN, which used to be sort of like a blog and data center for space, started out of the UK, and now they are actually hiring to create a network of CubeSats all over the solar system to be basically television in space. Like they want to be like CNN in space. So if there's like, you know, a rover landing, they want to be recording it live. Obviously not live relay because space, but we're getting there.
So this is actually something we're really proud of. We started the year at 29 chapters, and we just hit 46 with the vote-in. So, what up? Thanks a lot for all the new chapters that started. I think Harvard, MIT, I know Mizzou's is here. MSU Denver, there are a lot that I'm not mentioning, but it's been a massive growth period for SEDS. We're all just happy that you're here.
Yeah, and you can see like we kind of have little regional pockets, right? And so one thing we're working to do this year is have more regionally focused events. Some of y'all might have been in on regional hangouts that Anand has been hosting, but we would love to be able to just like outside of Space Vision have local events, local projects going on for people to work with other chapters. So one event that we do.
I'm excited about this too because I actually got my job from, or my future internship from this opportunity. So this is the second year that we've done a leadership conference. Since we are a decentralized organization, we want to get face time with each other. So we went out, Hannah very wonderfully organized this this sort of mini conference with the main purpose of figuring out how to better serve our chapters and members. So we went to San Francisco, had a pretty awesome time, but also worked about 50 to 60 hours, or that's not, yeah, hours a day. But worked pretty much the entire time. Yeah, it was a blast, actually. So we got to tour a bunch of awesome companies, Made in Space. We went to Ames and got to see their facilities, Planet Labs, and then Spire, where I hadn't even honestly heard about Spire. And then got FaceTime with them, heard about their mission, heard about the cool humanitarian things they're doing with their technology, and just honestly fell head over heels. So met some people there that eventually were the people that I was interviewing with when I was going through the internship, and that turned out to be successful. So getting this FaceTime is super important.
So these are the kind of things that we want to try to organize on a regional level too. This retreat, by the way, was open to board, staff, and COC representatives. So I think this is also a benefit of being your chapter representative, that you have access to things like this. And I want to add to that, we didn't just like tour these companies, we sat down in meetings with all of the leadership. You know, we sat down with Chris, the CTO of Planet, asked him questions, picked his brain, you know, like sat down with us for like more than an hour. These people were super busy. We sat down with Jason Dunn at Made in Space, who's a SEDS alum, and he talked to us all about how SEDS got him there. It was just like a really personal and constructive event. And we structure these as an unconference. So, you know, beforehand I asked everybody, what do you want to learn about, both in, you know, your studies and your career, whatever. And we kind of just had these different sessions, some on like general relativity and special relativity, some on how to talk to potential sponsors, like how to ask people for money, just all kinds of things that people felt they needed to learn and wanted to learn. We were in the news quite a bit this year, so Will, who y'all heard from this morning, who's the chair of the SEDS Board of Advisors, he and I were on CNBC's Squawk Box recently with Richard Branson talking about students in space, which was awesome. With SEN, part of that partnership was, when they were doing the blog, was we had a SEDS column, so we were like the student space column. And so we had about 3 articles get published in there before they decided to become a TV network. And I had a couple articles in space.com, Space News, and the Planet Labs blog. And so like this is an opportunity that's available to everybody. We've tried to publicize this, that like, you know, if y'all write something, we can get it in space.com or Space News or whatever your favorite publications are. And let me tell you, people listen to you way more when you write things. You know, like you will get your message across way better than you ever will talking to 200 people, because like millions of people can read it and it's there forever. So it's a great opportunity. And it's great for SEDS.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so this is kind of the big part of this, where we actually want to hear from you, figure out what we can do better for you, how we can increase communication, because that's been a fundamental frustration for the chapters, I'm sure, and for us, because we'd love to tell you about all these wonderful opportunities as best we can, and have you actively participate in them. So I guess we'll just open it up to the floor. Any of these questions, or any of your own that you have for us, we'd be more than happy to answer, and get bold. I mean, ask us anything.
Yeah, I want to start this off by saying, like, clearly we have a communication problem, because none of you knew that we had these scholarships, and to us, we're like, we advertise them, you know, like, it's kind of like, what, we want to know, like, what you think would make it easier for you to, I don't know, like, what do y'all want? Help us help you. We want to help. And I don't know, what do you read online? Can we put stuff there? Just jump up and ask questions, yeah.
Afternoon, I'm Cody Drager from the Metropolitan State University of Denver. I had a question regarding best practices. If it was possible, some way to publish best practices where, say, one university might have an idea for rocketry, for example, and they could publish a PDF or a PowerPoint or something onto a server that could let other universities with similar ideas share that information, have a way of best practices.
That's actually a really phenomenal idea, and we can throw it under the projects pages on the website. I'd be happy to do that. Also, we started a SEDS chapters Slack. If you haven't heard Slack, it's a chat application. So if it's just sedschapters.slack.com, so you can go there, interact with other chapters. There's a different channel for each chapter. Go into other chapters' room or channels, asking questions, post in the general, asking everybody questions. Use it here. If you forgot to get somebody's contact information, you can just go on the Slack and be like, hey, I was speaking to this, and like a misconnections sort of thing.
Even regarding that, you guys are new, right?
We've been around for a few years.
Okay, well, Council of Chapters, so during those meetings, a bunch of people that do have Council of Chapters, they... Oh, hi, I'm Taylor. I'm from ASU, Council of Chapters rep. During our meetings at Council of Chapters, we like to say what each of our chapters are doing, such as if we're doing rocketry projects, or if you're, I don't know, anything that you're doing. We like to talk about that. So definitely talk to your chapter, if you are the chapter rep, and then during those meetings, you can kind of throw out what you're doing, and then hopefully get other chapters to tag along and help you with that as well. I know that's one thing that we have been trying to do, such as the orbit. There's like the orbit, the SEDS orbit. They'll probably talk about that. So definitely just talk to your chapters, and then do the Council of Chapters meetings, which are held every month. They're like FaceTime. Very helpful if you do want to get more involved with each chapter and each group. Also, you can plan events with those chapters and see what everyone's doing. If you have any other ideas, you can kind of latch onto those from other chapters.
Going off of that, and addressing point 4, do you have a mentor? So how many of you have a mentor, whether or not it's formal or informal? Does anybody have a mentor? Awesome. How many of you guys want a mentor, a peer mentor, or like an industry mentor? Awesome, I see more hands. How many of you would like to mentor somebody? Okay, awesome, I see a few hands. So at 3 today, we have the kickoff for SEDS Orbit. It is a peer mentoring program run by SEDS, and it's across chapters. Beyond that, we're going to put packages together to help local chapters run peer mentoring programs at their local chapters. So if you're interested in SEDS Orbit at a national scale, definitely check out the session. It's at 3 in the Kenmore room.
And also, all of my mentors I met at my first Space Vision. So, just go talk to people, even if it seems awkward. The best advice somebody gave me, which I share all the time because it's applicable every day of my life, is your success in life is correlated with the number of awkward conversations you're willing to have. And when I first heard that, I was like, all conversations are awkward. But, when I'm about to go into a meeting, I'm just like, whatever, this is gonna make me more awesome. So, it really helps to just get talking to people, get people talking about you.
Can I just add one more thing to that discussion? It's also really important to recognize that there are problems that have been solved before that you may not necessarily know the answer to, and you may feel really stupid asking the question, but it's so important to ask the question because it can save you, months of thinking through a problem and potentially not finding the best way to do it. So do your research and don't be afraid to look a little bit dumb once, because trust me, you won't. You'll look smart for asking a question, and then you'll be even smarter later.
Thank you. I've got 2 questions. The first is there a way for people to request, either like by specifying a job title they're interested in or something like that, for Space Talks?
Yes. So Julia Levy is the Space Talks program manager. We would love to hear y'all's ideas for Space Talks speakers. And her email is on the website on SEDS.org if you go to people. It's just julia.levy@seds.org. And she'll, if you have the contact already, if you could give her the intro, but otherwise we can normally find a way to get to people.
Excellent. And then I guess the second one on the point 4. I feel like the bigger issue in not downsizing personal mentors, because I have a boatload, is an active SEDS mentor per chapter or for your chapter. Just throwing it out there and thinking, we have advisors, but to really have somebody hands-on helping us form this chapter would be really helpful.
Yeah, that is a great idea. We do have a national board of advisors, which I said Will is the chair of, but they're really advising us on a national sort of strategy level. But I think having a network of like pairing chapters up with mentors would be awesome. Kind of like we did with Satellites Around Mars, right? Each chapter or each team was paired with a mentor.
Also, that's really where, like Taylor was saying, the council chapters comes in. So peer mentoring is super important. I'm not sure if have you been to the council chapters meeting?
Almost all of them
from
the last 2 years.
So it's not working out.
It's the biggest difficulty I see is the amount of time we have to really discuss it. We get people's emails. It might float around for a few months on our side, on their side.
I also want to add to that, there are probably a lot of you who think the council of chapters could be ran better. If you think that, run for COC chair, right? There are only 2 people running. So like if you want this, if you're like, man, this could really be done better, just do it yourself. Like my first, and you don't have to know anything about it, right? My first staff position with SEDS was public relations manager. I'm a computer scientist, but I was like, I could probably do this and it will probably be fine. And I did, it was fine. There's a question here.
Still gonna be a student in 5 weeks.
That also goes back to the Slack channel we have set up and we're working on distributing. Slack, for at least the national board, has been an awesome way for us to communicate and move more quickly on projects. So I think if we can get more chapters on it and more chapters active, I think that's going to be a very valuable resource for every chapter.
I will send out an invite to all registrants that actually provided the emails later today, just to make sure we have that.
And we'll also add all of your emails that you put them for to our listserv, so you'll get our newsletters, things like that. If you're not already getting emails from us like semi-regularly, then you can go to seds.org and click join, and you will become part of our newsletter.
Also, if this hasn't been distributed to you because of the communication issue, Chapter MEMB 2015, you get free individual membership if you're part of a chapter. So there's no reason not to sign up.
I also want to stress, I'm Molly, I'm the project manager for Space Vision, but I think that I speak for everyone when I say, if you have suggestions about anything, go to the seds.org page, click people, find the relevant staff or board member, and email us. Our emails are on there. Our phone numbers might be on there.
No.
Okay. Well, I know my phone number was on the Space Vision website, and I don't care if you text me or whatever. But we are super open to suggestions. We want to hear what you have to say, and that's what's going to make us succeed as an organization.
we're a huge network. There are probably like 3,000 to 4,000 at least people that are actively engaged with SEDS in the U.S. alone, and that's like really hard for us to sort of connect with top down. And so we really want everybody to just be like engaging with each other all the time. Like we want to make this feel like a small community, which for a lot of people it does. But we want to be like as welcoming as possible and as helpful as possible to y'all. We have a few minutes left, I think. Yeah, we have 7 minutes left, so we can have some more questions if y'all in the back.
Hi, my name's Michelle Clarina. I'm from LSU Denver. It's not really a question, but more of a suggestion. Have you thought about giving out like new member packets, like getting started packets with information for scholarships and everything on them?
At one point, we had a getting started guide that, like we have our flaws as a national team too, right? Everybody is in school. Sometimes things slip through the cracks. And that is something that we were working on for a while, and somehow it got kind of like dropped in the ether. But we should definitely pick it back up because you're right, that is a great resource and something that Will is really big on, and something we're working towards is like being able to get, I don't know, like startup funds or startup packages for chapters, being able to say like, oh, you want to do rocketry? Well, like here's this little kit of parts. I don't know, stuff like that. Just being able to help y'all get started and know what's up.
Check the blog. By the end of the conference, we'll put up the, because we do have the chapter getting started guide. We'll have that up by the end of the conference, if not by the end of the day, for you. And then we'll put it somewhere more permanent as soon as possible.
And the SEDS.org blog is where we're trying to like centralize our news. So if y'all could follow that page, just SEDS.org/blog, that's where we're going to be trying to post like all of the new news, everything, just, I don't know, everything you possibly need to know. And if you don't know something, just email us.
Thank you. Yeah, we just recently started a new chapter, and we used that chapter guide, and it was actually very helpful.
Okay, so we did distribute it.
Yes.
Awesome.
COC distributed it.
Okay, COC distributed it. We'll have it up again.
A couple months ago, I looked around and I couldn't find it again.
There
So,
We just did it.
Well, yeah, we can post it on the chapters page on the website.
so if you could continue doing things like that, and even expand that sort of stuff, that would be great, especially I think for all the new chapters.
Yeah, something when I was leading the UNC SEDS chapter, I thought would have been helpful is like meeting ideas. Because a lot of times I'm like, I don't know what we're gonna do on Tuesday. You know, we don't want to watch a movie. So I think like that's something the COC can be good for too, is asking other chapters like, what'd you do for your meeting this week? You know, like Michael has some awesome ideas. She's just done like debates within the chapter of like, I don't know, about different stuff, science debates, industry debates. You know, like there's a lot of really cool things you can do that are constructive at your meetings.
One thing that I think we would like to do, if anyone had ideas they wanted to share, is do more things to connect with the rest of our college. It's not actually in our club, but to sort of communicate our message.
Right, there's like internal outreach and external outreach, and often internal gets disregarded, so it's something we could all work on. Any other questions or suggestions in our last 2 to 3 minutes? Oh,
Last one.
sorry, I didn't see Mehmet.
So one quick question. You mentioned that there is just a newsletter that you can sign up for, go on SEDS.org and join. Is that a separate newsletter than the one that gets sent out to the COC reps?
Yes.
Didn't know that existed. Second follow-up. Every year, like I'm the president of the University of Illinois chapter. When we change our our COC representative every year, is there a streamlined process for adding new people to that listserv and that? Because it just seems like it is a very large pain every year to update who should actually be receiving emails.
So we are moving COC stuff to MailChimp. And that is making it a whole lot easier where if you are no longer the COC rep, you can just hit unsubscribe, and then we're going to get a link out there for new COC reps where they can just go and hit subscribe, and then they're subscribed to all COC stuff.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks so much, everyone.